Welcome to Got Invention Radio. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and as usual, we always have great guests, but tonight we have a very special guest, Lori Greiner. She's the celebrity on ABC's Shark Tank, and she has her own show on QVC TV. Lori, thank you for joining us tonight.
Nice to be here.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's fantastic. Lori, I'm telling you, over the last couple years, between QVC and between Shark Tank, you've really gotten some great opportunities out there, and we got to see what you're made of and get to know you a little bit better. But besides seeing you on QVC and on Shark Tank, if you don't mind spending a few moments and telling us about you and maybe behind the scenes what you've been up to.
Well, I was going to say, if anybody watches ABC's Shark Tank, I've been this season, I'm a permanent shark, and that airs Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I've been on QVC for the past 16 years selling my inventions. I'm an inventor and an entrepreneur. I've created over 400 products, and I have 115 patents. And I have my own show on QVC, which is called Clever Unique Creations by Lori Greiner. And that keeps me pretty busy, I will say.
When is that on?
That is on, well, at my website, which is lorigreiner.com. You can see when all the different shows are, Shark Tank and QVC. But my next shows on QVC will be Friday nights, February 15 and February 22. 15th is at 9 p.m. No, sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern. And on the 22nd, it's 7 p.m. And then in March, also March 8th, March 22nd, and March 29th, again, Friday night, right before Shark Tank at 8 p.m. And Shark Tank is always on 9 p.m. on Friday nights Eastern.
Boy, Lori, what do you think is making Shark Tank such a tremendous hit on ABC? What is it about it that's really attracting attention?
Well, I think there's so many things. I think that most people want to live the American dream. They want to be able to quit their day job and become an inventor and create the next greatest success. And Shark Tank really gives them the ability to learn, become knowledgeable, see what entrepreneurism is like, or entrepreneurship is like. And a lot of people say they really learn from it. A lot of schools are teaching it. They actually play Shark Tank in college classes and high school classes and have the students learn and talk about it. So I think it's all about just really being able to learn from and live the American dream if one so wants to.
Sure. There's so many people that are unemployed that have jobs that are looking to get out of their job, or they're just looking for residual income, and it doesn't matter who you are, right, Lori? I'm sure you've seen everybody and any type of person and just involved in anything have some kind of idea, maybe being involved in wherever they work or their environment, right?
Well, you know, Robert and I were joking. We were at a ABC event that was in front of all of the press the other day in Pasadena, and one of the things that most people think about all the time is, oh, if I just thought of that, if I just had that one great idea, I'd become a millionaire. People, I think, are more and more interested in making a lot of money fast, as they always have been. But I think being an entrepreneur makes you feel that you can do that, you can achieve it. And as you said, in this economy, things are so hard, times are rough, people are losing jobs, that everybody wants to come up with, the next pet rock. And we were joking at the TCA event that on American Idol, you have to have a talent, you have to have a voice to win. But to be an entrepreneur, you just have to have a brain. You just have to think of something, a business idea or a product idea, and you can actually take that and get somewhere with it. You don't have to have a special talent.
Well, that's the thing. And watching you and the rest of the Shark Tank guests there, the hosts, it's really interesting because it's not that you just see a product on the shelf or you see it on QVC. You actually see what goes into the first part of it, which is the development side of it and just going through the process of actually having an opportunity to go out and retail. And that's why between your show and even Got Invention Radio, people listen to the show because they hear somebody like you actually speaking to them and bringing whatever it is that you're involved with on the outside to life. And just kind of going on that premise where there's inventors that are listening that are just at the beginning stages where they have their idea on chicken scratch in front of them, and then some people actually have products in the market, or they're stuck at that fork in the road whether they should license it or manufacture it themselves. Lori, with your experience of 400 products, 115 plus patents, maybe you can help us out. I'm sure you can. What do you do when you have an idea? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you have that, what they say, aha moment?
Well, I always recommend that when somebody has what they think is an aha moment, or they think they have the next best thing, that they really find out and take the steps to figure out if they really do. You know, most entrepreneurs or people that come up with ideas think that the product is the best thing in the world. And their parents, their family, their friends, people tell them, oh, yeah, it's great, I love it. But that's not who to find out from. What you need to do is do market research, get out there, pound the pavement, make a prototype, have a sample, and show people it. And say, what do you think of this? Would you buy it? Is this something you need? Do you think this is great? People who don't know you and have no stake in the game. You know, people that know you don't want to hurt your feelings.
Right.
So you need that really cold, unbiased opinion. And so I think always a very important thing is to find out, is it really a great idea?
Right. Would you say, Lori, on that note, would you say that it's a good idea to take away your emotion out of your idea and focus on the business? Because when you come up with an idea, it's a business.
Well, I think that keeping in the emotion of being passionate and excited about it is always a good thing. Because if you're not, no one else will be. But I think that staying emotionless to when people tell you what they think, you know, don't fight it back. Don't refute it. Don't prove to them why it's better. Most things and most ideas people get, they understand if you explain it well. And you're not going to convince them or change their mind if it's not something that connects to them personally. So I think that one of the things that people really have to do is be objective and really hear the feedback that they're given. If people are excited and you can tell they're genuinely excited, then you know you might have a hero. And if they look like, I don't know, not for me, you know they really don't like it. And don't try to force it on them. And in turn, you're actually hurting yourself. If you're trying to influence others to love what your idea is, and you actually have to be doing that, it's probably not the right idea. It's not going to be the thing that's going to make you a millionaire. It's better to just move on to something else. Think of the next best thing.
Okay, that makes sense. So you did that market research, and it passed the test. You have a pretty good sense of that it's something that could have some really good opportunity. What do you do next, Lori?
Then you have to figure out, how do you make your product? If it's a product, if it's a business idea, how do you do your business model? What do you need to do it? That's really sitting down and writing out what are the steps that are necessary for me to go from zero to the next step. Often it means if it's a product, you need a prototype. You need to figure out what is it made out of? Where can I have it made? And things like that. You know, how do you get it out there? And much of that is intuitive. You know, it's like if you need to bake a cake, what do you need to put in it? Eggs, flour, sugar. It's the same type of thing, but for each different person's idea, business model, or product, they have to sit and figure out what are those things needed to make this thing come to life.
There's so many inventors that are frustrated with understanding what to do with their idea and what to do first, second, third, fourth. Where does the intellectual property protection, patents, trademarks, where does that come in for you, Lori?
Well, it should come in very early. If you feel that your product is patentable and you feel that you have the money in which to try to patent it, which is going to be at minimum $5,000 to start, then you have to, one, find an intellectual property attorney. But the other thing is you have to really think about having them let you know, have a consultation visit, which you'll probably pay for, and find out if the product is actually patentable. Not everything is. Some products are, and many are not. And once you figure that out, then you figure out if it's worth putting the time and money. So step one, figure out, is this product something people want, not just something you think is great. Step two, is it something that is patentable or can get coverage? So that's number two.
Mm-hmm. And if the product or the idea is not patentable, does that stop you, Lori, and you move on to your next idea, or do you figure
out?
There
are many products that I've made that are not patentable. Not everything is. As a matter of fact, I think the minority of things are, because they really have to be unique and different. It shouldn't stop you. And having a patent is only protection in case other people try to knock off or do your product. Sometimes, it's smart if you think it's really different to do a patent search to see if anybody else owns a patent on your idea, because you don't want to spend all the time, money, and effort to go produce something that then you're infringing somebody else's patent. That's the flip side of it that people forget about and need to be careful about, because you certainly don't want to invest $50,000 or $100,000 into making something where all of a sudden you get the news that you're infringing someone else.
Okay, so for the most part, you try to get some sort of intellectual property protection, whether it's a design patent or utility patent, or start off with a provisional patent, the 1 year right to say that your product is patent pending, and hold that date.
If it is something that is patentable and it's something that you can afford to do, then, it's a personal choice. It's a decision that one makes when they go into business. How important is that to them? Some people choose that it is important. Some people say it's not. They just say, I'm going to do my best to get it out there as far and wide as I can. So it's not like you can say, here's the 5 easy steps. It's what works for you and what do you think is the right steps for you. I'm only giving you guidelines, but there's no one way that's the perfect way to go.
So, Lori, there's inventors, I'm sure, that come to you that say, I have a great idea. And you say, okay, do you want to tell me about it? Or sign a non-disclosure agreement. And they're paranoid. They don't want to tell their idea because they feel that you might steal it, or showing somebody else out there might steal it. What do you say to that? I mean, when you're talking about resources, and you mentioned a few things between intellectual property, which most of the time you need a professional, a prototyper. You probably need to go somewhere to make a prototype, or these people are going to have to. You're going to have to reveal your idea some way, somehow, to be able to keep moving forward. So what do you tell people that are paranoid, Lori?
Well, the thing is, everybody's paranoid. Every inventor's paranoid. Every inventor doesn't want anybody to steal their idea. And so it goes with the territory. But you also, like anything in life, you always have to take a step. You always have to take a risk. Starting your own business is taking a risk. And you have to be a person that's able to do that. You have to be a risk taker to be an entrepreneur. So, if you can get coverage, great, you get it. If you can afford it, and if it's what you want to do. But if you can't, it doesn't mean that you should stop. It just means that, you hope that you get your product out there faster and broader and fuller than anybody else that might be the person that you're fearful of. And, of course, always intuition is best. If there are people, big companies that you think you shouldn't be revealing your product to, you should try to get it out there yourself first. If there's people you think that would steal your idea, don't show it to them. A lot of doing this is common sense. It's going with your intuition. It's knowing the common sense things to do or not do. For some people, maybe you're thinking it's not always intuitive, but things that give you concern, if you're worried that somebody's going to steal your product, don't reveal it to them.
It's your choice.
It's your choice.
Right. But so how do you take precaution then? I mean, there's a certain part that's intuitive, then there's the other side, which is the business sense, to maybe have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. Does that make sense, Lori?
Well, you can try to get people to sign non-disclosure agreements, but not everybody will. Mm-hmm. So I think I was just thinking even beyond what you were saying. A lot of people, when they're a new inventor and they're just starting, They might have a non-disclosure agreement, but a lot of people don't